last week saw the 2024 Republican presidential field grow to 7 candidates, and one of them joins me now. Asa Hutchinson, the 46th governor of Arkansas and a candidate for the 2024 Republican nomination for president. Welcome to the Sunday Show, Governor.
Jonathan, it is always good to be with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so first, 2 quick housekeeping questions that I have to do. 63% of Republicans in a recent CNN poll do not believe Joe Biden was duly elected. Is Joe Biden the duly elected president of the United States?
Well, he is, and we have certainly regarded that. Look at the negotiations that are going on now. So he is the president. And
right.
While that poll reflects one view on that, I don't think that's an issue. In the Republican primary, people are looking to the future and problem solving, leadership, and experience.
Okay, second housekeeping question. Would you pardon anyone with a conviction related to the insurrection of the Capitol on January 6, 2021? So far, we have seen Governor DeSantis, a candidate for president, and the former president, Donald Trump, both say that they would.
Well, first of all, there would be no blanket pardons. Secondly, it was a very serious offense challenging the fundamentals of our democracy, an attempt to overturn the election. And so I view it as seriously, and any pardon application would be viewed just like any other pardon application that I viewed as governor, and I would do that as president, but no blanket pardons. It's a serious offense. And I always had the practice that I like to see 10 years after a conviction and after the sentence is served before you really consider a pardon looking back. So no blanket pardons in this case.
Okay, thank you for that, Governor. So the big news out of Washington this morning is the new tentative debt ceiling deal. Your thoughts on it, and do you agree with Donald Trump that Republicans should not sign on to it and let the United States default?
Well, I haven't seen his comment on that. First of all, of course, you don't default. You don't take the practices of the private business sector where you utilize bankruptcy as a business tool sometimes. That's not about government. We pay our debts. It's important for the full faith and credit of the United States. In looking at what Representative Clyburn, who I served with in Congress, and he talked about compassion, and I'm really glad that there's been a deal made, although I haven't seen the results of it. I think Speaker McCarthy has done an excellent job in shepherding this for the Republican majority in Congress, particularly on the work requirement issue. Now, we'll see where that lands, but to me, it is compassionate if you have a work requirement for able-bodied welfare recipients, particularly if you can utilize worker training as a way to get them to move up the economic ladder. Able-bodied training, work, responsibility. To me, this is an important value in our country, and that's something that I'm glad was discussed as part of the debt extension.
In 2019, moving on to another subject, in 2019, you signed an abortion trigger law as governor, which went into effect when Roe v. Wade was overturned. You've said you will sign a 15-week national abortion ban if you become president. Now, according to a recent Reuters Ipsos poll, 64% of Americans say they are less likely to support a 2024 presidential candidate who supports banning or restricting abortion access. So, Governor, how do you square your stance with where the American people are at the national level?
Well, I think if you look at the polling information, you also see that they support further restrictions on abortion if there are reasonable exceptions to it. And so that's where, when you look at the exceptions of the life of the mother, cases of rape and incest, those exceptions that I support, is the vast majority of American public understand the importance of the exceptions, but also will accept restrictions. Whenever you believe that the life in the womb is deserving of protection, then you have to have this debate. Right now, it is with the states, and that's where I expect it will stay, versus a national ban or standard that is set. The debate will be there, but as a practical matter with the divided Congress and White House, everyone knows that it's unlikely that there's going to be a national standard, and this will be left with the states. I did say that we could get a consensus with reasonable exceptions, and reasonable restrictions, then I would sign that.
Governor, I've got two questions and not a lot of time, but I want to get these two questions in. According to recent polling from CNN, you're polling at 1%. As a Republican field gets more crowded, one, how will you stand out? And I ask that question because Trump owns the Trump lane. Governor Ron DeSantis is running as new Trump. Senator Tim Scott is the happy warrior. So what lane are you occupying in this race?
First of all, it's very early. The dust is not settled from people entering the race, so the voters are going to figure that out. Secondly, you look at my experience, there's not anyone that has the depth of experience that I have at both being a governor, balancing a budget, but also in Congress, balancing a budget, and then leading extraordinary important agencies, protecting our homeland, working on the crisis of drug overdose in America, national security issues. These are experiences that America needs when you look at border security, whenever you look at the challenge of crime in our cities and in our country. My background fits perfectly with that. I look forward to talking about my vision for America that includes more energy production, that includes more safety, enforcing the rule of law, strengthening our economy, and controlling federal spending.